This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Friday, the real Friday, December 15th. And today's pod. Oh, Jack, this is the best one yet. What a T-boy.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
But Jack, before we hit the pod, you want to unwrap some gifts for the Yetis? I think we got a couple under the tree.
We are doing something wild on Christmas Eve this year.
Yetis, Jack and I are going to gift you something that we never gifted before. What is it, Jack?
We're going to publish our first listicle. It's the 25 best T-Boy takeaways of all time.
Subscribe to the best newsletter yet to get the best takeaways yet.
Yeah, to get the top 25 takeaways, go to tboypod.com/newsletter.
But Yetis, Jack and I, there are 2 of us. We got to give 2 gifts to you. Jack, what's our second gift for the besties out there?
We have bonus pods all week next week. We're calling it the best of the best.
Yetis, Jack and I curated the best stories of the best year on 5 different themes.
We'll keep those 5 themes a surprise. But tune in on Monday or over your holiday break for the T-Boy of T-Boys.
Yetis, Jack and I are literally whipping up 5 episodes for you. But in the meantime, Jack, we have the best pod we've ever done today. So what are our 3 stories?
For our first story, yesterday, stocks finished at an all-time record high.
2023, it started as a bear, it's ending like a bull.
For our second story, Spotify Wrapped had its moment, but the new trend is dating wrapped.
Dating Wrapped. Whether you are single or in a committed relationship, Yetis, Dating Wrapped has a takeaway for all of us.
And our third and final story, Santa and his elves are working their butts off right now.
So Jack and I are jumping in T-Boy style. We're looking at the numbers from Santa Incorporated.
From Klaus Industries.
From St. Nick LLC, a registered B corporation.
Because Santa is an $11 trillion a year business.
Santa's worth $11 trillion bucks, and the whole family can enjoy this story.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
That is a wild mix of stories for the pod, Jack.
We've got some awkward news, unfortunately.
Yetis, we do have some awkward news. Jack and I were looking at the numbers, and
according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics,
the cost of the 12 days of Christmas just hit a record high.
That's right. It's easier to get Taylor Swift tickets right now than 7 swans a swimming.
In this economy?
We looked it up. The price of 6 geese a laying is up 8% from last year.
Because egg prices, they're still popping. It's a frittata fiasco out there.
If you need to find 12 drummers drumming, that's going to cost you $3,000 right now.
Are we going to blame Ticketmaster? Let's blame Ticketmaster, Jack.
10 lords a leaping? Good luck. The price is up 4%.
Yeah, because those lords were on strike with the actors, of course.
Even 5 golden rings hit an all-time high.
Like literally, the price of gold is at an all-time high.
That's why the 12 days of Christmas this year costs a total $47,000.
Christmasflation is not fun. So Jack and I decided to do something a little different this year.
We whipped up our own 12 days of Christmas.
We whipped up our 12 days of T-Boy. Jack, you've got the honors. Why don't you kick us off? I love the way you were singing earlier.
La 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 la.
Right on key, right on key.
12 T-Swift tickets.
11 chatbots chatting.
10 dinks a dinkin'.
9 tips a creeping.
8 Xers tweeting.
7 actors striking.
6 Cybertruckers.
5 Costco hot dogs.
4 Grimace milkshakes.
3 AI Drake songs.
2 Stanley tumblers. And an air fryer just for me.
Yetis, you've looked fantastic all year. Jack, we got a fantastic show.
Yes, we do.
Let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, instead of a recession, we're finishing the year with all-time high stock prices, baby.
We were expecting a bear this year, but we got a bull instead.
Yetis, we gotta set the scene. Jack, take us back. What were we hearing 1 year ago? Bring out the crystal ball, the magic, whatever. Talk to us. What were we hearing?
1 year ago, the number 1 prediction for 2023 was the R word.
You gotta say it. I think it's more like the R word.
Recession.
We just said it out loud. Yeti's analysts, economists, CEOs, Jamie Dimon. They were all talking about recessions, right, Jack?
They were expecting high unemployment this year and stocks to continue dropping this year.
Even Zuck said it would be the year of efficiency. Translation, Jack?
The year of layoffs for tech companies like Facebook.
But get this, Yetis.
Stocks are ending the week at all-time record highs.
It's the Santa surge, the Hanukkah hop, the Kwanzaa crush. Yetis, this is the reindeer rally. Talk to us, man. What's going on?
It was Rudolph's rally. The S&P 500 is up 31% since October.
Besties, if you include dividends, we just eclipsed the previous high for the stock market from January 2022.
And the Dow? That just passed 37,000 points for the first time in history.
Get this. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is now twice as high as it was from the very bottom of the pandemic.
How's your portfolio, Greg?
It is strong to quite strong.
That's how a lot of people feel right now. Yeah.
But Yetis, Jack and I were curious. We jumped in T-Boy style. And really, there is one specific reason why stocks are up to record highs this year.
That one specific reason is the Fed.
Because this week, our central bank, the Fed, announced a paradigm shift that no one expected.
From rising interest rates to falling interest rates.
Because, besties, for nearly 2 years, the Federal Reserve has blasted us with these painfully high interest rates.
And the goal of those high interest rates was to slow down the economy in order to slow down inflation.
For the whole year, we've been referring to high interest rates as like Godzilla because they were scary.
It was scary. But yesterday, the Fed basically announced, mission accomplished.
Without causing a recession, our central bank has managed to tame inflation. It has managed to tame Godzilla.
So Jerry Powell and his colleagues predict that they're going to start lowering interest rates next year.
Which no one expected.
The Fed forecast that they would cut interest rates 3 times in 2024.
Yetis, this is a total 180-degree reversal. The news was such a shock that it just pushed stocks to all-time highs.
On the last night of Hanukkah.
On the last night of Hanukkah.
See? Latkes and vodkas.
We asked and we shall receive. Mazel tov, Morgan Stanley. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are everyone in the economy?
The biggest gift this holiday season is a bull market.
Yetis, by lowering interest rates, the Federal Reserve would loosen up more money into the economy in 2024.
And if that happens, it would make it easier for everyone, people, consumers, businesses, to borrow and to spend.
For example, next year, mortgage rates should come down so it's easier to buy a house.
Interest rates on car loans, those should come down so it's easier to upgrade your Honda.
Venture capitalists can raise more money so entrepreneurs can raise more funding.
If interest rates come down next year, our buddy Timmy's finally going to launch that chatbot startup.
You got it, Timmy. Oh, and Darlene from Duncan, she can finally get that loan to open up her own coffee spot.
If the Fed cuts interest rates, it's going to loosen the money situation and make loans easier to get.
And that is why the biggest gift this year was a bull market. For our second story, the most viral trend right now, it's not Spotify Wrapped, it's dating Wrapped.
This story starts with dating, but it ends with Socrates.
Jack, we are all familiar with Spotify Wrapped, right? We've shared our Wrapped.
Yeah, your top artist this year was Adele.
Oh, 14 hours of rolling in the deep. Sign me up. No judgments.
Spotify Wrapped was Spotify's genius growth hack.
Yeah, for a solid 3 days every year, Spotify is trending everywhere because they whip up your Spotify Wrapped.
And now every app has a knockoff year in review feature, and most of them just don't work.
You're using Yelp, you're using OpenTable. They're all trying to do some Wrapped year in reviewy thing.
How about Walgreens Wrapped?
Oh, congratulations. You bought 7 tubes of thitastrosol this year.
Oh, I can't wait to share that. Thanks, Walgreens.
It did last for longer than 4 hours. I guess I gotta call Walgreens.
Yeah, it is. This week, though, we found a Spotify Wrapped knockoff that's actually working.
We found a Spotify Wrapped spinoff that is doing things no one else is doing.
It's called Dating Wrapped.
Dating Wrapped, a year-end review of your dating data.
Now, there's no single app offering you dating wrap data, like Spotify offers you music wrap data.
But people are tracking their dating statistics and then posting on social media their own dating wrapped presentation.
Yeah, it's called Dating Wrapped. And those kinds of videos have 100 million views on TikTok.
Now, Yetis, we know what you're thinking because you might be wondering, why are daters sharing their love life data publicly in presentation PowerPoints for the whole world to see.
It's partly to reach romantic insights and conclusions about themselves.
Yes, it is.
And partly for catharsis.
So, Jack, let's say we jump in T-Boy style and we watch a dating-wrapped video of someone's analytical approach to their love life. What are we going to see?
You're going to see a pie chart showing where you met the people you dated with this year.
Maybe you met 50% on Hinge, 30% on Bumble, 12% in real life, 8% on Strava. Which one was the most effective?
Then you're going to see their calculation on the average amount they spent on their first dates.
Turns out you dropped $82.19 on average. That includes tapas. That does not include tip. You're going to have to round up.
People are showing their first kiss percentage rates, like how many first dates resulted in a first kiss.
People are sharing their D-floor makeout percentages, and that just hit an all-time high, Jack.
Oh, it's getting quite statistical. Like people are calculating their first date conversions.
Right, like what percentage of initial dates resulted in a second date, and what can we learn that caused that high conversion rate?
People are even confessing their ghosting rates.
Oh, their ghosting rates, that's the worst one, Jack.
How many people just stop texting instead of ending it properly?
Is splitting the tab a rate? Is that a red flag, or is that a leading indicator?
It's called dating wrapped. It's a raw, honest, and cathartic format for you to have a little fun about your dating situation.
It's an annual report on the quarterly earnings that are you and your love life.
But it reveals a more fundamental value that these daters are doing.
Dating Wrapped reveals something bigger. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies doing Dating Wrapped?
A life not examined is not a life worth living.
Yetis, that quote applies to your life and your business because we're all so busy. It's just easy to move from one thing to the next and just never reflect on anything you just did.
Yeah, before you know it, months or years have passed. Where did they go? You're still doing the same thing you were doing before.
For example, Jack and I produce a podcast every single day. We have a shortage of time to reflect on all the work we've done all year.
There have been stretches of my life where I've just done the same thing because I've never paused to reconsider.
So when we do take time off, it's important to ask yourself questions, to look back on what you've been doing.
Have I been enjoying this? Is this what's best for me? Should I change things up right now?
Are there new ideas we should be launching? Are there old products we should be shutting down?
Socrates said, a life not examined is not a life worth living.
Well, Dating Wrapped is a perfect example of people examining their lives.
And the end of the year is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, if you have the data, great. If not, just think about the way you spend your time and the people you spend it with.
Just reflect.
Because as Socrates said, a life unexamined is not worth living. For our third and final story, with the holidays coming up, Jack and I are looking at the business of Santa Claus, or as he calls it, Klaus Industries.
When your competitive advantage is magic, you have a monopoly.
Yetis, 'twas 2 weeks before Christmas and all through the condo.
All the T-boys were stirring, even the Ford Bronco.
So Jack and I are jumping in T-boy style to the big man in red's business model.
We're jumping in T-boy style to Santa Inc.
Or as it's registered legally in Wilmington, Delaware, Klaus Industries. Right, Jack? What did we learn about Klaus Industries?
It's a highly seasonal business. All their sales happen on one day every year.
Santa's business is like Spirit Halloween or the turkey industry, right, Jack?
But its sales are even more concentrated on December 25th only. That's the only day they're open for business.
Now, Yetis, Jack and I, by complete chance, fortunately got the annual report from Klaus Industries.
Ticker symbol NICE. It's traded on the North Pole Stock Exchange.
And here is the key competitive advantage to Santa Claus's very own international business.
It's the supply chain. Santa's supply chain is more important than any other company we've ever covered.
And this supply chain happens to also be highly concentrated. It's based exactly at the North Pole.
Yeah, they have a massive workforce of elves who build toys in one giant wonderful factory.
Now, we should point out that Father Christmas has never shared sales figures publicly, but Jack and I whipped out the whiteboard for this one.
Yeah, we calculated the sales, the annual revenues of Klaus Industries.
It turns out, Yetis, that 36 countries do not observe Christmas as a public holiday.
But Santa doesn't check passports, so we're going to assume he delivers to all children worldwide.
So, Jack, if that's the case, then what's the market size for Santa's business?
Well, 25% of the world's population is under 14 years old.
That would be 2 billion customers.
And we'll assume that Santa delivers one gift to each child worldwide.
But, Jack, we do have to adjust for the naughty factor, don't we?
But the data shows that those numbers are negligible.
Yeah, it turns out the naughty factor is actually very negligible.
So, Yetis, if each gift costs $10 for 2 billion children worldwide,
then that would be $20 billion in sales for Klaus Industries all in one day.
Now, we should point out, Santa waives the price with a 100% discount, bringing down revenue substantially for Klaus Industries.
It's basically a buy one, get that same one free policy, Jack.
Yeah, and there's also a labor risk this company faces.
Right, like, Jack, what if the elves go on strike? Like, that's kind of a problem, right?
I think they're relatively content, though.
Besties, Jack and I checked with the elf union spokesperson, and apparently they're paid a living wage of gumdrops and candy canes. So,
And all the syrup they want.
and they get 360 days of vacation.
Oh, by the way, this year, don't leave cookies for Santa.
Yeah, Santa's on Ozempic, so he's only drinking skim milk this year. Maybe some mule milk. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies who own stock in Klaus Industries?
If Santa could scale his magic, he'd be 11 times bigger than Walmart.
All right, Yetis, follow us on the numbers here. $20 billion of sales in one day. Jack, can we extrapolate Santa's revenues for the entire year?
If Christmas were every day, which was my dream every night as a child,
It was my dream. I'll take it. Let's run with it, Jack.
then Klaus Industries would generate $7 trillion of revenue each year.
$7 trillion in revenue. Jack, could you sprinkle on some context for us, please, over there?
That's 11 times Walmart's annual revenue.
Yetis, assuming Klaus, the toy company, makes the same profit margins as Hasbro, the toy company,
Then they'd make $511 billion in profits every year.
sit down, stand up, and sit on our lap again. Yetis, that is 5 times as much profit as Apple.
There you have it. If Santa could scale magic, Klaus Industries would be 11 Walmarts in size.
And Santa would be 5 times as profitable as Apple.
Now, at the very least, Santa, can you launch a second Christmas in July?
I mean, if Amazon Prime can do it, so can't Klaus Industries?
Not even good King Wenceslas could complain about that.
And that is the annual report on Klaus Industries.
St. Nick LLC, a registered certified B Corporation.
Gifts limited to nice children. Gift policy does not apply to children naughty for more than 183 days a year.
No reindeer were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the real Friday?
Stocks closed Thursday at all-time record highs, thanks to the Fed's plans to cut interest rates next year.
The best gift for the 2024 economy would be a bull market.
For our second story, dating wrapped is the new TikTok trend, diving into daters' dating data.
The lesson is reflection, because a life unexamined is not worth living.
And our third and final story, Santa's business, Klaus Industries, serves 2 billion customers on one day a year.
If Santa scaled that magic to every day, he'd be as big as 11 Walmarts.
And he'd make 5 times the profits of Apple. But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, the newest venture from Elon Musk. It looks like it's going to be a school.
Yeah, tax filings from Elon's charitable organization show he's planning a STEM university in the state of Texas.
And second, for the first time in 2 years, rental prices in Manhattan actually fell from like $4,500 on average.
Huge news for New York City-based dinks.
And finally, Apple is about to hit a wild milestone. Get this. Apple is about to be bigger than the stock market of France.
France has the most valuable stock market in all of Europe, but Apple's $3.1 trillion valuation is the same size as France's stock market.
It's already bigger than England, and it's already bigger than Germany.
One company is more valuable than the stock markets of those entire countries.
Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Patrick Meehan from lovely Bradenton, Florida.
Trivia. Who is the world's largest manufacturer of tires?
I mean, Jack, you're thinking Michelin, you're thinking Goodyear,
Bridgestone?
Firestone.
You'd be wrong.
Because the biggest manufacturer of tires on earth is actually Lego.
Legos manufactured 306 million tires in 2022.
Which is 100 million more tires than Michelin.
Backbreaking work from the elves on the North Pole.
The North Pole, where the rubber meets the road. Yetis, you've looked fantastic all year, and this happens to be our last daily pod of the year.
Thank you so much for listening all year. As we mentioned, we have bonus pods all of next week, but we just want to say thank you for this year.
We do. And that's why Jack and I wanted to leave you with so many gifts that we're whipping up for you. What do we got, Jack?
Our top 25 T-Boys are yours if you subscribe at tboypod.com/newsletter.
If you still want to get some merch, we're wearing the T-Boy swagger. Jack and I got it also on tboypod.com/shop.
And finally, next week, we whipped up 5 bonus pods, the best of the best, for you to listen to over the holidays.
5 surprise pods of the T-Boys of the T-Boys.
In the meantime, I'm going to go shadow the work of some of those elves.
Yetis, celebrate the wins. Jack and I will see you for the bonus pods. And before we go, a happy birthday to Yeti Adam Masowitz, who forgot his passport, but then got his passport back and is now celebrating the 30th birthday in Cancun.
Happy 29th birthday to Carl Velotti in Boise, Idaho.
And Grayson Carter is turning 21 at Vandy, anchor down.
Happy birthday to Sofia Arguare Corcara from Mexico, who's celebrating 43 years today.
And Odin Barber is turning 11, loving airplanes in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Congratulations to Justin Wurst, who's about to have the best birthday yet.
And Mike Green is turning 50 years old in Ackworth, Georgia.
Happy birthday to Sebastian Sabagle, who's celebrating a new job at the sheriff's office down in Daytona Beach.
And Anish Bajaj enjoy flying somewhere really cool for that birthday. Celebrate that win.
Happy birthday to Kenny Corbett, who's celebrating with his golden retriever in San Francisco.
And Ronald Reyes is reading a book for his birthday down in Miami Beach.
Happy birthday to Taras Milenchenko, the man, the myth, the legend, in lovely Austin, Texas.
And Walter L. Marguson III and Evie Vieira are a couple of T-boys who are celebrating an anniversary in Juneau, Alaska.
And Kelly Bradenbaugh has a brand spanking new meniscus and is recovering just outside Rochester.
And Shelby and Eric are having a baby in lovely Los Angeles.
Congratulations to Noah Kaylees and his wife, who are having an anniversary and just found out they're having a baby girl.
And Nick and Jackie have gone from dinks to dinkwads. They just got a puppy for Hanukkah.
And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. I own stock of Ford and Amazon, and Nick and I both own stock of Spotify and Apple. And we both own some ETFs of the S&P 500. 2 Stanley tumblers.
And
an air fryer just. Oh,
say
dude.
with me. Yeah, say it.
Yeah, I don't line up. And an air fryer just for me.